Usually for my paper scissors, I usually buy from like IKEA or somewhere where they're cheaper. They're nice and sharp. They do last a while. But cutting paper really wears down the blade on your scissors. So if you're working and you like lace and fabric, or if you're a sewer or quilter, I would never use my fabric scissors on paper because it just really will dull your blade out fast. Okay, now I do have black lace, but I think that might be a little bit too overpowering. And I just want something softer. So I'm going to put that little bit of lace behind there. And like I said, I could glossy accent all these flowers and make them pop too. But I also want the black speckle, the splatters to show up a little bit more. So I was thinking of maybe doing just the black splattering. But anyway, let's get this down. Whenever you're working with material or lace, the best product to use is either Fabri-Tac or they're all made by Beacon. There's a Fabri-Fix. There's all kinds, but I usually get the Fabri-Tac. Okay. If you just try to use regular glue, more than likely this is going to come off. Okay. So I kind of know, let's see, I want it roughly around there. Now, if you like to do the stitching, you can stitch it on. But just realize that the stitching is going to come through onto the other side. I do sometimes with my journal cards and tags like to sew around the outside. And of course I take my wet wipe right away. I do the same usually with my art glitter glue. Sorry, I usually always have one out. Okay, so these I just get the cheap wet wipes from the dollar store. Wipe my tip off because I don't want it to clog up with glue and dry. And shut this. Careful not to over twist this. I used to do it really tight, nice and tight. What ended up happening was the tip split at the base here and totally broke off. And then so I had to try to transfer it to another bottle after I bought one. Okay. Oh, and there's another really nice tool. But I have some options for you too, just in case you don't have something. There are these silicone, and they're called a brush, but there's really no bristles, okay? If you want to just use your hands, you can do that too. But this is really nice. It's silicone, and it's really easy to pat down your lace. The one thing with the Fabri-Fix is you do have time to move it around a little bit. Okay, so these are really nice. They come like on an angle and a straight. They come in a set. And then I just wipe it off with a baby wipe and it comes off. The other thing is, and I think I got these at the Dollar Tree, or Dollar Store again, and it was in the like manicure sets. But it's a metal, and you can also use that to press down. And because it's metal, you can see the glue on the on it there. Once it dries, it just peels right off. Okay. Now, not only does it matter when you're adhering it to your paper, anything that you go to put on top, you're going to have the same issue with. Okay. This is also a sticker. So I have a little, this I got again at the Dollar Tree. It's a very fine little pokey tool. And it makes it a lot easier to try to peel the backing off of your stickers. You can sit there forever with your fingers, then you end up bending up the corners. And it's still not always the easiest. Some are a lot easier. Once you get it lifted, right, you can just pull it and hold it down. Now, some of these are really sticky. But again, just to be safe, because some I've had peel off the lace or fabric, depending on what I'm using. So I'm just going to use a little more of the Beacon's Fabri-Tac on it. Okay, don't have to use a lot. I'm not going to go too much to the, too close to the edge because I don't want to all squirt out. But it does dry clear, but it will like leave it lumpy. And then I'm just going to, I just kind of want to put on a little bit of an angle for interest. Okay. And I'm not going to reuse this to put it down because I don't want any of the glue from here to get. So I'm just going to rub it really good with my finger. And then again, you can always use your, oh, where's my bone folder? Your Teflon bone folder, or whatever type of bone folder you have. And I pressed down really, really good with that. Okay. There you go. So again, it's nice when you have pattern paper that you can work with, that you don't have to put a whole lot of, you know, layering or decorating or, you know, but you do want to add a little something, or you, like I said, you could leave it plain. But why not jazz it up when you can? Why not beef it up, take it to that next step, right? So let me clean this off real quick so that glue doesn't dry on it. But even if it does dry, like I said, later on it will peel off really easily. Okay, so I'm going to keep those by my side. I have a nice little tool thing behind me, but for this I want to be able to quick and grab it to show you. Okay, so now I want to decide, do I want to bother and cover up the words? What's nice is then I don't really have to put a phrase or anything like that. I could add a number or whatever. I could do that and cover it up. I don't really think it adds much. If anything, it might even take away from it a little bit. The white one's a little bit clearer, or the black and white's a little bit smaller, and it will show through there. And I can bring it down a little bit too, without losing too much of the flowers. Yeah, okay, so I think I'm going to do that. Now this is going paper to paper, so I don't need to, see, that one came off really easy. I don't need to use Fabri-Tac or anything like that. I'm just going to tuck it under a little bit behind the lace. Put a little bit on an angle. I think will look nice. So then you can still see some of the verbiage. And again, this is real light, the other stuff, so it doesn't show up that much, which is fine too. Just make sure I get all that down really nice so it doesn't peel up. Okay. Starting to lose daylight, so hopefully I won't have to turn my camera on. And then, you know, you can always add bling if you want as well. So why don't we just try that a little bit, just see how it looks. If we don't like it, we don't glue it down. This is the, like I call, auditioning. Try different things. Sometimes there's a point too where less is more. Sometimes you get too much on there. You lose where your focal point is. It starts to look too cluttered, too messy. So that's why you want to kind of audition and just kind of see, how's it look? Or does it look better on this, you know? So do I put my little gems there? I kind of add something down there. Or do I want to put it up here? I think that's busy enough up there. Down here, not really doing anything for me there. Kind of same on this side, not much. So I think I'm just going to put it down here. Also, if you wanted to go with pearls or something like that, you could do that as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to put that down there. Just to add, again, a little something to it. Nothing really standing out, but enough. Oh, sorry, I'm going on lace, see? If I was just putting that straight on paper, I would have just used my art glitter glue. So let me grab my Fabri-Tac again, just to make sure it sticks on real well. This I don't like to get on my hands. Not that it won't come off and rub off, but then my hands will be really super sticky. And then I don't want that affecting the rest of my project. So I'm just going to run a little line of glue. And you will get a string sometime. Not near as bad as a glue gun. Some people do use glue guns too for their lace and things. So if you already have a glue gun and want to go that route, I have a tendency to burn my fingers a lot. I did actually end up buying these little rubber silicone, I should say, fingertip things specifically for that. But I also don't like dealing with all the strings. There will be some strings with this Fabri-Tac, but they're very, very thin and much easier to deal with than all the strings on a glue gun. Okay, so I added that little element there. And I still, like I said, I love the splatter. And I love doing splattering on it, especially when I love working with mixed media. But I just don't feel like the splatter is showing up very much. Now that I've added this other stuff, I don't know that I want to put a lot of the glass, sorry, I still want to call it glossy accents. The liquid glass on all the flowers. That I could, it would look really nice. But I think I want to just do some of the black splatters to kind of show them up a little bit more, right? And here's where it can be very, hopefully you can see still well. Hopefully the lighting's good. Let me see if I just put my light on, see what I mean by the glare? That might cover it up a little bit. All right, let me try that and just see if you can see better with the light on. I know I definitely can for working. So there's some very fine little dots. So I just have to do a little squeeze. That's why I love using the Art Glitter Glue empty bottle, because I can get very precise. Okay, let me do a bigger one first to get it going. Okay, am I clogged up? I don't think I'm clogged up. Let me do a big one because all of a sudden then it might just pour out. I have to give a, okay, here I'm just going to get a scrap. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just had a little bit of a clog there. Okay. So I'm just going to put a little dab there. Little dab here, just on the dots where the splatter is. Just to kind of bring it out a little bit more. I mean, it does dry totally clear. So it's not like, oh, if you mess up or your dot's a little bit bigger than the dot, it's really not going to affect your project. I mean, ruin your card or anything like that. It's kind of, like I said, it's just a nice little, adds a dimension to it. Which again, sometimes, like I said, just the little finest of details can really lift your project. And I'm just going to do this a little bit because that lace kind of came up a little bit there. Just the slightest of detail can take your project from nice, really nice, to wow, in just a few little steps. It's a little bit more work, so again, some people, like I said, we can get carried away with bling. I think you're either a bling fan or you're not, right? But sometimes, again, the style of the book, if you're doing more vintage, you don't always want a lot of bling, right? Some people just do not like bling at all, and that's fine too. Okay, so now I'm going to look in the camera and see if you can see with the light. Okay, can you see where I've added it on the splatters. And so now they're a little bit more defined, like if it was real splatter that was put on there, okay? And I didn't have to go through the mess and everything to do that. Splattering, hey, it's a it's a hit or miss. You can't control how much is going to come off, how big your drops are going to be. You just kind of tap it on your finger, and what comes off is what you get. And sometimes it can ruin your whole project because you can get a whole big glob down. But anyway, so that's a pretty straightforward, I'll say simple way, using paper. That's our, this is from a paper pad that you can buy, and then you just back it, and then you do a little decorating, and you have end up with a really nice card. Okay, so those I do the size whatever the paper pad is. Okay, so those are my two samples there. This one I have to set aside, let the liquid glass dry, but like I said, it doesn't take long. It's a lot thinner than using the Glossy Accents by Ranger, which again, it's a good product, but actually, I shouldn't have folded that up. You saw how thick that got when I really squoze it? That's kind of how the Glossy Accents comes out. It doesn't have a fine tip. It'll come out a lot thicker, so for really detailed lines, doesn't work as well. It comes out a lot thicker, takes a lot days to dry. It'll still be tacky. And then even for weeks or even months after that, if it's up against, in a book page, up against another piece that has it on it, they do stick together. It can be a month later, and heat, humidity, whatever, I don't know what it is, it will adhere, and then you go and you open it, and it'll tear one piece off of your project, or your card, or whatever it was you made it with, okay? All right. Next one I'm going to show you is using old scrapbooking paper, okay? Now, there's no set rule on what size a journaling card can be. Make it according to what your project is. I like to have decent sized ones. I pulled a couple things here again to kind of play with. What's going to work best for the size album that you have. I like to have a decent sized journaling space to write on the back. Now again, I'm just doing straightforward basic journaling cards, okay? You can certainly add pockets and other things, or make it a double and fold out, and all these other things that we'll show you in other tutorial videos, okay? But for this, it's just basic. Just cutting off the barcode strip on this. So again, this is using up my scraps. This is scrapbooking paper that, God, I know how long ago I've had it. Came out of a pad or a kit or something. So this one I'm going to make about 6 by 4, okay? So I want this one, instead of being vertical, I'm going to make it horizontal. Okay, so I'm going to go 6 inches by 4. I think I'm going to go 4.5. Only because some of the pieces of it. I can always trim it down, but once you start working with it, you find it's too short, you really can't go anywhere. And I think I'm going to pick the brighter. There's some nice, which has script back here, that's really kind of nice. It's a little bit paler pink. And I really want more of this for the elements that I picked out. I want this orange and pinky side went best with what I pulled. Okay, but again, I can always cut. It's only paper. The nice thing with this too is, so I'm going to use the front on this, because the back, it has a great writing space. It's colored. I don't even have to, and it's kind of thick enough that I don't really need to back it with anything and make it thicker or stronger. But this works very well to use as your front as well. If I were to choose to do that, this wouldn't be as easy to write on, right? So then I would probably back this with like a coffee dyed paper or colored dyed paper, or, you know, even just plain paper. But yeah, this right here, it's like, okay, it's already backed for writing. I don't have to do anything with that. That's pretty cool. So I can kind of hopefully make this one pretty quick and easy. So I had some elements here, and again, some of these things. Now, if you don't have a lot of, you know, elements or things that you've purchased or whatnot, you know, magazines, books with illustrations, there's tons of images you can get and cut. There are a lot of free printables on a lot of, say, websites, or and there's always printables on in the Etsy shops, right? There we go. I gotta block that. Sorry, you guys, with that glare. Let me take a drink real quick here, okay? Getting a little dry. Okay, so I had tea and I have it on a little warmer, and forgot to turn the warmer on, but okay. Let me see if I turn this light down a bit. Okay, well, let's go with that. Hopefully it'll be good for you. Okay, so again, out of a little booklet, but again, you can take an image from anything. So I really liked this butterfly. And again, when I talk about contrast, right, things were going to pop a little bit better than being too blendy. So there's some like pinks and oranges in here, and I really liked this butterfly with the black background. So I thought, oh, that would be nice. There was also another one in the pack that was like this, that had a flower in that as well, which also looked nice. This one really looked nice, I thought, on this, okay? So since I have so much of it left, I may end up doing another card. But for this demonstration, I think I'm going to go with this one here, okay? And I'm not sure if I'm going to ink around this one or not. There is a little bit of white core, so okay, maybe I'll just run it along here. See the difference? It doesn't show up as white, but I'm going directly around the edge. I'm not getting any on the paper. And again, I am an inker. I love that look. I love making it look more vintage, but I really don't like the white core showing too much unless, again, it's a very pastel paper and it's really not noticeable. Okay. All right. So where do I start? So I kind of like to get my focal points kind of positioned where I want. I also found this black and white, which is very similar flowers. I kind of thought, oh, I could always pencil or use my Copics or color that a little bit. But I have the brightness here, the brightness of the card. So maybe I want to tone it down a bit. And then I thought, well, I'm going to end up with a blank space there and really don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm going to move this over to this side. Okay. That way, oh, I can do this on an angle. Okay. Take out, that'll cover up that corner. And then I can put a butterfly or something over here and cover up that corner. So I have some butterflies that I pulled here that I thought would be nice on there. I specifically had some. I think these were them. But again, kind of preview. The other thing is, because of the way the lace is and the card itself, oh, that was the other thing. On those previous two cards, I didn't round the corners or do anything with the corners on those. I left them square because of the design. This card I might round, but looking at this in itself, because of the lace is kind of rounded, I think I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do a 2-inch. I'm only going to do the 1/4 inch because it is a small piece, and I want the rounding to be very subtle. So I'm just going to do a quick little corner on that, and let me check my time. Okay. Hopefully, I may have to do a 2-part on this one because I'm running out of time. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. My other piece here, might leave it in the black and white. But I kind of want something behind here, but I don't want a whole bunch of lace. So I have these little pieces that I bought, I think, on AliExpress again. They're like lace, but they're actually paper. Okay. Well, that's kind of nice. Yeah, I think I'll use this one. And I'm going to tuck this behind here. And I might go right to the edge with it. Yeah, I think I'll go right to the edge with that. And I'll glue that down. But first, again, right now, I'm just auditioning. So, let's see. This is a nice butterfly to go up here. Yeah, I'm covering up that one little flower, but that's okay. And then, do I want this down like over here? To add something there. Hopefully that's, let me turn the light off so you can kind of get a better view of that. That's better. Not sure if I want that there, but I don't know if I want necessarily 2 butterflies over here on the same side. So, and I might even pull this in a little bit more so I don't have a huge gap up there, right? Okay. So then, yeah, maybe another butterfly here might look okay. I don't always like to go the same angle with both. So maybe I'll turn this one more like that. Okay. I can also always turn this back here so that white is not showing. Okay. And then, I don't know, maybe need a number on it. So let's just kind of look at some numbers here real quick. And like I said, you can buy all this kind of stuff on AliExpress. There's a lot of other, or you can get digitals, especially like for numbers and words and things like that, doing the digitals, because I use them a lot. The pattern paper, sometimes I love it, but how many times am I going to reuse the same pattern paper? Trying to find a black one. Some of these are brown. Okay. You know, and maybe put a number there. Okay. Could also put it over on this side here a little bit. Okay. Like that. And then I have some black and white words. So I would probably peel 1 or 2 of these off and maybe just put it here or over there, and that kind of thing. Okay. It looks like I'm getting close to an hour, so I'm worried that I'm going to get cut off here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down. I think I've already shown you how to do the gluing, and then I'll come back with a second part of the video to show you the third way that I use to make journaling cards. All right, be right back.